Good morning, everybody. We are back on Gary's engine today, and more problems have come up. This one's not going real good, but I got on its side, and I want to see if you guys can see what's wrong with these valve guides here. Okay, any guesses? Well, they're all set at the wrong depth. You've seen me set valve guides plenty of times. I have the proper tools made to get these to the right depth. When they're all set in there correctly, they'll be an even line all the way across here. The exhausts, they missed by about a 1/4 inch, and you can see the intakes, they're off over a 1/2 inch. I just don't understand that. I mean, it's not like it's a secret, the specs that these engines should be built to. I mean, the information is out there. You just get a service manual and you're going to find all this information in there. The guides are just, they're not set right. So that got me thinking, and I have the whole engine torn apart now, but that got me thinking, and I'll show you what else I found. I'm going to flip the engine up and be right back with you. Okay, guys, you know that we're going to deck this. It's not flat. It should have been decked. It was not. There are some horrible new threads put right in here. We've got a crack here. We've got a crack here. When I get all this copper spray off here, I'll know better where we're at on cracks. But we got 2 little cracks so far that popped up. Gary said that he had somebody do some valve work, and when I took the valves out, there was new valves in there. There was new springs, there was new keepers, and there was new retainers. Pretty good job there. I'm going to zero in on these seats. I know you probably can't see it here, but again, if anybody's watched my videos, you've seen me cut seats, and I say to you, do a 3-angle valve job. Okay? And I tell you, normally when you go to a regular shop, they're just going to wipe that with a 45-degree cutter. Well, guess what? We got a 45-degree cut here. Every valve is at a different height. They're just not right. I mean, you could see the amount. Oop, let me get over there. Sorry, hang in there. You could see how big the 45 is here. That's on an intake. We barely have any room for that valve to seat and give up its heat. I don't know what happened. Again, this is a different shop that did the valve work. Sadly, it's not too impressive. So we're gonna deck this. This will get decked. Okay, then I'm gonna try and save these guides. There's new guides in here, but I'm gonna try and see if I can push them down without cracking them or breaking them. I'm gonna try and see if I can set them all to the right depth after I deck it. And we need a flat surface so we know our boring bar is nice and true to put these cylinders at 90 degrees to the deck. So that all needs to be done. Then we're going to start all over again, and we're going to do a 3-angle valve job like you've seen me do plenty of times. And you've seen the ring, you know, when I kind of lap them in there, you see where the ring is, and you see how big it is. And too much contact like this, no good. Too little contact like this, no good. There's a happy medium. It's completely missed on this. But that's not the worst part of the day. You know what I mean? That bear is really out there trying to eat us up today. This is your oil squirt nozzle. And you've seen me do this too to all my rebuilds. Now you can clearly see that this is an original L-head nozzle with the 70 thousandths hole. It wasn't very long after they had this oiler with the 70 thousandths hole, they realized it was putting too much oil through this hole, and it was taking oil away from other places. So they said immediately go to a 45 thousandths, between 40 and 45 thousandths. I've seen both. I've seen Willys technical bulletins. Some say 40, some say 45. You get a later one, you stick it in there, or solder that one up and drill a smaller hole. Make sure you got oil flowing through. This is a critical thing. It seems like that tiny little hole seems like a nothing, but you don't want to smoke any of your bearings, you know, and that's what they were finding was happening with that 70 thousandths hole. So that's another thing. If you work on these engines, you know that you need to do that. But this one was not done. And we're still not done yet. I'm going to set up over at the bench and show you the biggest mess up on this engine. So hang in there with me. I'll be right back with you. Okay guys, I got the camshaft out of Gary's engine. I'm going to give you a quick look at this camshaft. You guys tell me if you notice anything about it, just quick. You don't even have to be close up to see what's happening here. Just let me know if you guys see anything on that. Think about it. Okay, now I have a used cam out of a CJ2A, an L-head. Now when Gary was having some trouble with this engine, he emailed me and he's like, it's just not running right. Everything is bad. I got no compression. It's just not running right. I can't get it to run right. And he said to me, could there possibly be an F-head cam in an L-head engine? Silly me, I said, absolutely not. That would be the most crazy thing that an engine builder would do, is put an F-head in an L-head. The cams are completely different. Lengthwise, diameter-wise, they're going to fit in there. Now, let me get the camera off the stand here, and I'm going to show you. This is the cam that came out of Gary's engine. Okay? This is an exhaust lobe. Okay? This is an intake lobe. Right here. I think you can see how rounded that is. Now, in an F-head, you got a sharp lobe for your exhaust, and then you got push rods and rocker arms and stuff. You know, you got some geometry there. So this is very round on an F-head. Okay? You got another intake is round. You got an exhaust is sharp. Okay? This is clearly, as soon as I looked at it, I said, it's an F-head cam. In an L-head. Let's put this L-head next to it. There's your sharp exhaust. Now these are all on tappets, so they're all going to be sharp. There's your intake. There's your other intake. I think you guys, if I can get on an angle here, I think you guys can see the roundness of an F-head intake lobe. Okay? They're easy to spot. If you've ever in your life put a Willys engine together, you'd know the difference. Now we'll take a look at this one. Every one of them is sharp. And I kind of feel silly now telling Gary that that wasn't the case, because I just, in my mind, I couldn't believe that somebody would do that. And he's like, it just won't run right. It just won't run right. And I'm like, well, check the valves. You know, you probably got piston to bore is too big, and which it was, and there was a lot of things wrong with this engine, but there's so much wrong with it. I can't believe it. I mean, I absolutely can't believe that there's an F-head cam in an L-head. See that nice round lobe? You need that. You need that in the F-head. You need that in an L-head. So, I mean, things are just crazy. Things are just going crazy with this engine. And Gary, don't worry. I'm going to make it right. I'm going to get you a new cam. Don't worry anything about it. I'm just saying, you know, what you paid for in this engine, I mean, you got nothing. I hope you didn't give up a good core for this. But anyway, this is just junk. This is completely, you know, this is just, you know, maybe using an F-head build, but we can't use that in Gary's engine. So I've got to get Gary a new cam. And it's just things that keep adding up here, and it just, like I say, he already paid for this engine, but now he's paying again because every single thing I touch on this is wrong. So that's just today's stuff. I think I've gotten to the very end of things that could go wrong with his engine. We're down to just a bare block now, other than the guides needing to be reset. I believe I can finally clean it so I can start to machine it. You know, we don't like to machine anything without being clean. So I'm going to take that, let some more oil drain out of it. There's oil everywhere in there. Then I'll take it out, I'll hot water pressure wash it, and then we'll pop it up on the mill and deck it. But can you believe an F-head cam in an L-head engine? I mean, I can't. Just try and wrap your head around that. It's kind of crazy. Alright, I'm going to head back over there and start opening up the cooling system and getting it ready for washing. Okay guys, this day is getting kind of interesting. I heard from the company that sold Gary this engine. I talked to the owner of the company today. Spent some time on the phone with him, and I would like for Gary, the owner of the company and the engine rebuilder, hopefully to watch this video. Now here's the F-head cam that was in here, and I just want to show. Hang in there. I'm just trying to get you zeroed in on that green paint. You see that green paint on there? This cam, I believe, was in the engine when the engine was rebuilt. And when it was painted, they got a little bit of paint through the fuel pump hole and onto the camshaft. It clearly is an F-head cam. And there's a lot going on with this particular engine, and I hope all the parties involved are watching the videos. So let's go put this cam back. Gary, I don't know if you talked to the guy who sold you the engine, but he was very willing, it seems like, when I talked to him today, to work with you. Okay, I'm going to try and get in here. This is MC76. Let me see. I can't see through the camera. MC76094. Just so everybody knows which engine we're working on. You know, I don't know what happened between the company that sold this and Gary, but Gary, I'd like you to spread some information on this engine if you can. I would like you to maybe respond to this video and let me know what your guy did. I know it went to your guy's shop and you said there's some valve work done. I'm just trying to figure out what happened at the shop where it was sold and what happened at your shop. So if he did some valve work, let me know exactly what he did. If he changed the guides, I need to know that as well. Camshaft, I don't believe was changed, but if it was and I don't realize that, please let me know that as well. Let me know as much as you can. I am trying to make sure this never happens again. So I'm talking with the particular guy that sold this engine. He doesn't actually do the rebuilding. There's a rebuilding shop that does it for him. I don't know how this got out the door without being bored and honed again. You can see the original piston travel, the rings stop right there. If there was a hone that rolled around in here, we would have known that the cylinders are in bad shape. I don't know how it got out. We're out of flat here on this particular block, so I don't know why that wasn't decked. A lot of mysteries here, and we're both trying to get at what's going on. We don't need another person getting an engine like this, so I just need to know what's going on. So Gary, watch this video, comment please. The owner of the shop, please comment, and please send this to your machine shop so they can see exactly what I'm dealing with here. Trying to be very transparent about what's going on, but I need to know what everybody did so we can kind of get to the bottom of this, make sure it doesn't happen to another customer. Alright guys, this is going to be hard to do, work the camera and show you the bore gauge. I just want you to see the bore gauge. Okay, we're at the bottom, and I want you to see how many times that goes around here. There's once, twice. Trying to hold it as steady as I can. I'm trying to show that this was never bored, and that seems to be a question with the shop that rebuilt the motor and the guy who sold the motor. So I need for everybody to know what's going on with the engine. I am 100% certain that this went through the shop and never got bored. And like I say, we're just trying to get all the answers we can so this doesn't happen again. I trust the guy that sold it is telling me the truth about the engine, and he supplies the parts, the machine shop does the work. But like I say, I don't understand how a machinist can let a bore this bad get out the door. How we can not deck this. I mean, you've got helicoils in there, and you've got, you got the block sticking up because it pulled up. You got, I mean, 50,000s right here. This is just a horrible surface. Okay. And the crankshaft's a whole different story. I mean, how that could get in an engine, I don't understand. But I need everybody to get on the same page, and let's just start talking about this so that we know what happened with these guides, the valves, the machine work. It's like this engine just went in, got a coat of paint, and was put back together again. With the bores being almost 80 thousandths at the top, I was shaking a 60 thousandth piston around there. An engine assembler, a good machinist, would see that. When a good machinist is torquing the caps on the rods, he would notice that rod shucking back and forth on the crank. And he just, first of all, he wouldn't put a rod to a crank like that. That's what I don't understand. I am interested in getting the truth out there, getting everybody on the same page so this doesn't happen again. But I need everybody to start talking. Just let me know what's happening, how this happened. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to make it right. This is going to be a good engine. I don't have any question about making this a good engine. But there's no need for anybody to go through this. It's time, it's money, it's just, it doesn't need to happen. But I see it all the time, and we're trying to put a stop to that. So, like I say, Gary, Dan, please watch this video, comment, send it to your machinist so he could see how bad these bores are and how this got out of his shop. I mean, I don't even know what I would do if I sent an engine out like this. I mean, I would have to be insane. So look at this. Let me know what happened. Was it overlooked? Did a worker in your shop say that maybe they did something and they didn't do it? Did you not assemble it yourself? Don't be afraid to comment. We need to get We need to get to the bottom of this. Okay guys, I'm going to take the core plugs out because we're getting ready to give this a hot water wash. And what I normally do is drill a hole in the center and then pop them out. This had the heat indicator tabs on it right here. Oops, right there. And you know, machinists put those on so make sure people don't overheat the engine and then blame you for it. So I was expecting, when I took out the drain cock here, completely solidly plugged in there. Had to get a bar in there and get the grime out. And again, that's another thing I see quite a bit, is the blocks aren't flushed out real good. So I took this plug out, and it's an original. It's so corroded in there. I think you can see that. I was not expecting that. I always put new core plugs in, and there is a lot of. Let me get you zoomed in there. There's a lot of crud in that hole. See it built up there. Try to stay out of the way of the camera. Inside here, if you get your finger in there, it's just full of rust and garbage. So another thing I wasn't expecting. Your core plugs should be out when you wash it. These were not. Again, I don't know what happened on this engine, but something didn't go good on this engine. I don't know if it just got kicked in the corner and forgotten about, and I don't know. There goes the heat tab. Let's see if we can get this guy out of here. Same thing, rusty old core plug. I usually change these out for brass ones when I do an engine. And again, we're just full of sludge in there. It's thick on the cylinder walls, but now it's clean. I'll get the hot water pressure washer in there. We'll blow all that out. We'll blow that clean because I know that's bad. We'll get down in all the cooling jackets here and blow everything right out of this thing. Again, this is stuff, you know, if you're putting engines out, these are just things that should be done properly. So that's just another thing. Again, Gary, I want you to see what was not done. Dan, I want you to see what should have been done. And if you're the machine shop owner, as a machinist, I mean, you should expect more from yourself. I certainly would expect more from a machine shop if they're putting out an engine and I was paying good money for it. I don't know, something bad happened here, so let's get to the bottom of it. Again, I'm not trying to bash anybody. I'm not trying to put anybody down. I'm not trying to prevent anybody from selling engines or getting business or anything like that. That's not who I want to be. I just want to bring these issues so they don't happen again. I hope you guys get the feeling of what I'm trying to do here. I just want everybody to step up their game and put a good product out. This was just a shit mess. I mean, it's just bad. So, hope everybody's getting the message of what I'm trying to say. Okay, guys, we're going to take one last look at the crank now that's out of the engine. Crank still has its green paint on it from when the engine was painted. I think you can see it there. I'm going to try and get you in as best I can here. Okay, these are pretty good scratches. You can hear my nail catching on those. Same thing here. Listen. Same thing back here. That one big one right there in the center. Okay, again, I don't know how this got into an engine. It's badly scored. Here's a set of connecting rod bearings. Look at the wear. On the side. Right there, right there, right there, and there. And like I say, these are scratched up pretty good. You can just feel the catches there. Again, I'm hoping that this video gets passed along to the machine shop, and he gets to see, so he can figure out what's happening on his end and how things like this get out. Hang on, I'm going to try and flip it again. Get the camera in my hand. Things like that. Those should never get out. That should never happen. Right here. Stuff like that should never happen. Look at how scored up it is here. It's just a completely bad crank. Again, it would have ate up the bearings in no time. But again, I just want somebody to figure out what went wrong in this engine. And like I say, when you were putting the engine together and torquing the rods down, I mean, they were sliding back and forth here so much. I don't know how you can miss that. But might be something to talk over with your guys or whoever assembled the engine. Somebody should be held accountable for what happened with this engine. The crank is worn. We're not going to save it. I'll get another one. But should never wind up in an engine. Now the final thing I'm going to do is take a rod, go over to the honing machine, put it on the measuring device there, and see how far out of round this end is. Very, very rarely do I ever see a rod get resized in an engine I take apart. Most of them need resizing. This end takes a beating, and it gets out of whack. And we're going to go over to the machine and see how this one is. We'll check them all, but let's just see how this one is. I haven't tested it yet, but we'll find out right now. Okay guys, I'm going to try and stay out of the way. We're looking for our needle to be right here at the 0. If it's in the red, it's an interference fit, and when it's in the green, it's a clearance fit. So one direction, usually the rods are good. The other direction, they're usually worn. Try and get it so you can see. Okay, so we put it on there. We're going to turn it. Flip it. Okay, so that one's about a full thousandth too big. Then you can see that, and that's generally the direction, the up and down direction. This way is bigger. This way usually stays pretty good. This way gets big, and you can see that the rods are not round by a long shot. So, like I say, it very, very rarely gets done. But it is a critical part of an engine rebuild. If you want good oil pressure, number one, and you want long-lasting engine, you know, you want to hit right on your dimensions. So we'll have to take these rods, cut some off the cap and the rod, and then we'll hone it back to true round size. Now we know every time that crankshaft's turning around, we got a nice round bearing shell on the crank, and the bearing is going to, well, when it does wear, it will wear evenly, but it won't wear for a long, long time because it's nice and round. There won't be any, you'll have oil pressure in there, it'll keep a film in there, and the bearing won't wear. But when it's out of round, they tend to wear. They take a, because they're not round, they take a pressure on one side, and they wear real fast. We're going to make it true round again, and that's just how an engine is supposed to be built. And whether it's a Willys L-head or it's a Ferrari engine, it doesn't matter. You still need to hold tolerances. You still need to make things round. You still need bores that are nice and straight. You still need piston to wall clearance. It just doesn't matter. So many people say, oh, it's just an old Willys engine. Well, obviously, you can see from this one, people can't get it right. So, be conscious of what you're doing. Take my videos, learn from them. Ask your machinist what he's going to do for you. If he's not going to do a good valve job, if he's not going to resize the rods, if he's not going to bore and hone, take that in consideration and find a shop that will do what you want them to do. Okay guys, I know this video got kind of long, but I'm trying to do the best by being in the middle of this engine build. I'm talking with the owner, I'm talking with the shop, and I'm trying to figure out what the machine shop did. So, I hope everybody comments on this video. Gary, I need to know what the other shop did. Dan, take this video. I tried to show you what I thought happened on your end. Please send it over to your machinist, or share this with your machinist so that he can see the crankshaft, the bore, stuff like that. Again, I hate to be in the middle of this stuff. You know, I wish people would just call where they got the engine from and try and work it out. But I'm in the middle of it now. I feel pretty deep in it. This is who I am. I'm not hiding behind the camera. I'm trying to be as transparent as I can. I'm going to show Gary the whole entire rebuild of his engine. I'm going to show him the boring, the decking, the honing, resizing the rods. I'm going to put all that out there so that you could actually see an engine being built. There's just too much stuff wrong on this engine. So I hope everybody gets a little something out of this, and this doesn't happen to somebody else. I'm going to do the best I can to keep the peace between everybody and make sure this doesn't happen again. So sorry it got so long, but thanks for watching, everybody. And there'll be more videos in this series, but thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.